Time to continue now with a look at Class. Now to Class 3A while we're on the subject of perfect seasons like Waxahachie's 16-0 mark. You know, Southlake Carroll was also trying to get to 16-0 as they played for the 3A state title last Saturday night at Floyd Casey Stadium in Waco. Now, the Dragons had done this once before. Back in 1988, a perfect team coached by Bob Ledbetter finished 16-0 and routed Navasota in the 3A state title contest in Waco 42-8. But that team in '88, as good as it was, probably was not as good as this edition of the Southlake Carroll Dragons. The Dragons took on the Coldspring Trojans, who were 14-1 coming out of San Jacinto County, and it was a very strange evening weather-wise in Waco. In the first quarter, it was Dane Johnson capping an early 76-yard drive by scoring from 13 yards. It would be the first of a Dane Johnson highlight reel. The junior running back would score 5 times for the night. The Trojans would try to decoy star running back Ray Fisher in the first half, but the Dragons would breathe fire on anything Coldspring tried. Still in the first quarter, the Dragons, who would rack up an average offensive night with 228 yards on the ground and controlling the ball throughout, managed to score again. It's Johnson from 1 yard out, and it's a 14-0 Southlake Carroll lead. Head coach Bob Ledbetter always includes a wrinkle or two in his game plan. Stephen Moreland checks into the lineup as a running back, and on this trick play, a give and go, Moreland fools everyone. He scores from 18 yards out. Carroll is up 41-0 at halftime. Dragon power in full force. Brent Bonzak would score again from 36 yards out. The Dragons showed why their #1 ranking in Class 3A throughout the season was well-deserved. Southlake Carroll, the 3A state champions, undefeated. They defeat Coldspring 48-0. Stay with us now. Coming up on the Extra, we'll take a closer look at those brand new champions of Class 3A, the Carroll Dragons. And we'll also recap the 2A and 1A state title contest when the Alamo High School Extra continues in a moment. Back to the Alamo High School Extra, our Christmas edition for 1992. As we continue our look, now, we told you about Southlake Carroll winning the Class 3A state championship contest in Waco last Saturday night. Now, Carroll was expected by many to win the state title. The Dragons were, after all, the preseason top team in the state in the preseason polls. They were #1 in the state of Texas throughout the year, and they did have that perfect season. But it's one thing to say it. It's one thing to be picked as a team to win the state title, and it's yet another thing to go ahead and prove it. Our Metroplex correspondent George Dunham reports the Dragons were able to do just that.
State Championship Saturday, the day Southlake Carroll fans have been waiting for. A bonfire was held the night before, and then a big send-off from the school on game day. To say the least, Dragon fans were caught up in championship fever.
Are you ready for some football?
That is a Trojan burger.
We've got some state cookies right here. Everybody take a bite, and we're going to state.
It's tiring, but it's wonderful. It's great. The kids are all into it, and you just can't describe it. The community gets together, and it's just wonderful. I mean, everybody in town usually goes. Check the city limit signs when you go out of town, so you can tell.
After an hour and 15-minute delay for a light failure, the Dragon fans were treated to a 48-0 win over Coldspring in Waco to give Southlake Carroll a perfect 16-0 season and a Class 3A state title for the second time in 4 years.
You know, I wouldn't say that, you know, one team, the 88 team or this team, or which is the greatest football team in Texas. You know, this is a great football team for us, and to compare them with some of the teams, you know, I would hate to do that. This football team has done everything we've asked of them. They've prepared mentally and executed to perfection. You know, you can't say enough about them.
It started back in August with hot two-a-day workouts on the Carroll practice field, and it ends here tonight with a state championship at Floyd Casey Stadium on a cold December night. This team has had to deal with the pressure of being the #1 ranked team in the state throughout the season, and the Dragons have proven once again that they are the champions. For the Alamo High School Extra, I'm George Dunham.
Thanks very much, George, and congratulations to Bob Ledbetter, his coaching staff, and the folks of Southlake on their second overall state championship. Let's move on to Class 2A, and Schulenburg was looking for not only a second state title, they were looking for their second straight state championship as the short